Five numbers have a median of 6 and a range of 9. They are given in increasing order. Find the value of x and the value of y. Well, please remember that median means the middle person. So if we have 5 numbers, like so, means the middle number has to be the median. This means x has to be equal to 6. Next thing we're told is the range is 9. This means the bottom number, which is 2, top number take away bottom number has to be 9. So top number take away 2 equals 9. This implies that y, which is the top number, must be 11, because 11 take away 2 is 9. Okay. The following 6 numbers have a median of 15 and a mean of 18 and a range of 30. They are given in increasing order. Find the values of a, b, and c. Okay, the first thing we're going to look at is the median. This time we have 6 people, or 6 numbers. The median in the case of where there's an even number of people is the average of the middle 2. The middle 2 being the third and the fourth. You divide the total number of people by 2. If it goes in evenly, then you have to average the third and the fourth. Because it goes in 3 times, you have to average it. Okay. In the previous question, it was 5 divided by 2, which was 2.5, which just simply, when you have to round it up, it's the third person. Okay. So we're saying 14 plus b divided by 2 equals 15. 2 is division on the left, which makes it multiplication on the right. So 2 times 15 is 30. 14 plus b is 30. This implies that b must be equal to 16. Okay, so we got b equals to 16 to start off with. Okay. The next thing we have is we have a range of 30, and we also know what the mean is, okay? So let's work on this next. So we're going to start off with the range. What can we find out about the range? Well, the range is the top number take away the bottom number. Top is c, bottom is a. So we know that c minus a equals 30. The next thing we know is that we know the mean. So what we need to do is need to add up all the numbers and divide by 6 to get the mean. So it's going to be a plus 8 plus 14 plus 16 plus 26 plus c. That's all the numbers added together. And then you divide by the amount of numbers. And this will give you the mean of 18. Next step is that 6 is divide on the left, which will make it multiply on the right. So 6 times 18, I believe, is going to be 108. Yes, it is. So 6 times 8 is 108. We're going to add the regular numbers together, the 8, the 14, and the 16. So 14 plus 16 is 30. 30 plus 26 is 56. 56 plus 8 is 64. 64 plus a plus c. The next thing is you're going to move it across, and we go a plus c equals 108 minus 64. A plus c equals 108 minus 64, which will get us 44. A plus c is 44. Okay, now we have 2 simultaneous equations. Please remember a plus c is the same thing as c plus a. So we have our 2 simultaneous equations here. Then we can add downwards. And we find out that 2c equals 74. And when you divide 74 by 2, this implies that c equals 37. So c equals 37. And if c is 37, we can see that 37 plus a is 44. This would imply that a is 7. Okay, and that is this question done in 4 minutes. Next question. Paul is raising money for a charity in school. He organises a fun day where one of the games he is playing is using spinners. He's using spinner A and spinner B, and the rules are shown below. Pay €1 to play the game, e.g. spin both spinners. Get the same number on both spinners, get €1 back. Get a sum of 8 on 2 spinners, get €8 back. Complete a two-way table showing the sum of numbers and on the spinners. Okay, so what we need to do here is basically it's 1 plus 1 is 2, 1 plus 2 is 3, 1 plus 3 is 4. 2 plus 1 is 3, 2 plus 2 is 4, 3 plus 2 is 5, 3 and 3 is 6, 4 and 1 is 5. I think we get the gist now. 6, 7, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so just to give an example, see this number 6. If you go up, you see the 4. And if you go to the left, you see the 2. That means it's a combination of a 4 and a 2. Okay? So that's what's going on there, okay? Now, because there's 3 outcomes on the first spinner and 5 outcomes on the second spinner, it's 3 multiplied by 5, which is 15 different outcomes. Now what we do next, I already completed the 2, so we're looking for, find the probability that you get €8 back if you play the game. So remember, to get €8 back, it has to be the ones that add to give you a sum of 8. Okay, so just once again, get a sum of 8 on the 2 spinners and you get €8 back. So let's find out how many ways we can get €8 back. Well, seems to be only one 8 on the board, and that's only one probability of 15, so that's 1 out of 15. There we go. 320 students play the game. Find the number of students you would expect to get exactly €1 back. Well, to get €1 back, you need to get the same number on both spinners. So what numbers can happen on the same spinner? Well, 1, 1, 2, 2, and 3, 3. So that's a 3 out of 15 chance, which is 1 out of 5. This should happen a fifth of the time. And if 320 students were to play it, it's going to be 320 multiplied by 1/5, which is 64 students. Oh, sorry, that's the answer to, sorry, this question here. It's 320 students. Find the number of students you expect to get exactly €1 back. We said already that's 3 out of 15 is the outcome, and that's 1 out of 5, and then 320 multiplied by 1 out of 5 is 64 students. We expect to get €1 back. All right, next question. After 320 students have played the game, 74 students have got exactly €1 back, and Paul has made a profit of €110 from the game. Find the number of students who have got €8 back. All right. So the first thing to remember is that Paul, what you get is €320 multiplied by, 320 students multiplied by €1 means that he took in €320. Okay. I believe it's €1 to play the game. I'm just going to reread the rules. €1 to play the game. Get the same number of spinners, get €1 back. Okay. So out of that 320, 74 students got their €1 back. So that's take away 74. And that's 320. Take away 74, which is €246. Now, he seems to be Paul has made a profit of €110 from the game. Okay, so at the very end, it's €110, and that's your profit. But what must have happened here was he must have lost €136. And what's the only way you can lose the €136? By paying out €8 a go. So it's basically €246. Take away the 110 that you're left with means you lost 136 from your €246. So if you get your 246 and divide it by 8, you can figure out how many people won the jackpot. Oh, sorry, the 136, I mean. Because you lost €136, so it's 136 divided by 8. And when you get the 136 divided by the 8, you get 17. So 17 students would have won the €8 back. So the answer is 17. Okay, next one. E. Paul says the probability of someone getting money back, €1 or €8, would decrease if you change spinner B so that it went from 1 to 6 instead of 1 to 5 and kept the rules the same. Is Paul correct? Make a two-way table and justify your answers. Okay, so 1 out of 6. I think there'll be more ways of getting an 8 now, so I don't know is the answer to this one. This one's not immediately obvious. Okay, so we're just going to make a two-way table here. Okay, and we're going to put in our numbers for spinner B and spinner A. Spinner B will be the columns, and spinner A will be the rows. Okay, so we got 1, 2, and 3, and then we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I like to color these ones just to let myself know that they're not included in the adding. So we got to add all these together. This time we have 18 outcomes because it's going to be 3 outcomes in the first spinner, 6 outcomes in the second spinner. So it's going to be 18 outcomes. Okay, we know that much. Let's find out. It's the same as last time. 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5. Yes, 4, 5, 6, 7. 6, 7, 8, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, so this time out of 18 spinners, out of 18 outcomes, we should have 3 8s. Where is the other one? Oh, sorry, we have 2 8s. A here and A here. Okay, and that is 2 out of 18. And 2 out of 18 is 1/9. And 1/9 is larger than 1/15. So therefore, the odds actually increase. Paul is not correct. So me getting back, oh sorry, money back, it has to be both of them actually, as it turns out. So actually it's not just the €8 back, it's everything back. So just let me revisit this one more time. In this question here, how many ways can you get money back? Well, you can get your €8 back. So if you look at the question, it's will decrease the probability of getting money back. So in the last question, this one here, how many ways can you get money back? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 out of 15. Okay, is the way is how you can get money back on the 15 outcomes. Okay, and on this one we have 1 and 1, 2 and 2, 3 and 3. Okay, so that makes it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That makes it 5 out of 18. Now, which one's the bigger percentage? 5 out of 18 or 4 out of 15? So 5 out of 18 is 0.2777 recurrent, or 27.78% if you multiply by 100. Well, 4 out of 15 is 20, I think it's 26.66%. Yeah, 26.67%. So 0.26 recurrent, and that is 26.67%. Okay, so Paul is wrong. Paul is not correct. Okay, and we can say that yeah, 5/18 is bigger than 4/15. Okay, and that's our question done. Now, question 3. Table 1 on the right shows the percentage of female members of Parliament in Parliament of each of the 28 EU countries in 2005 compared to 2015. The figures are given in increase in order for each year. So there should be 28 different countries here. It doesn't necessarily have them ordered. Alright, now just skip up in 2s to count this a bit quicker. Should be 28 in total, which to me is a lot of numbers. All right, there is 28 countries in total. So one country has 45 female members in 2005, and then 44 in 2015. Another country had 21 female members in 2005, and then 28 female members in 2015. That's basically how this graph works, okay? So, find the value of the median and upper quartile for the 2015 data. All right, so there's 28 people. And what we do is, to find the median, we divide it by 2. And when you divide it by 2, it goes in 14 exactly. 28 is an even number, just like the number 4 is. That means you got to talk about the middle 2. So we're talking about the 14th and the 15th person, and we're going to average them. So where's 14 and 15 in 2005? Well, they're both 26s. So it should be 26 plus 26 divided by 2. And that will equal 26. Now, is it percentage? Oh, it's percentage, sorry. So for example, in country 14, 20% of the parliament were female, and then in 2015, 26% of the parliament were female. So these are actually percentages. So one more time, in questions in country 6, 12% of the parliament were female in 2005. 18% of the parliament were female in 2015. So this is a percentage answer. Okay, next thing we're going to do is the upper quartile. It's 28 multiplied by 3/4. 3/4 is the upper quartile. So what we're going to do there is just 28 multiplied by 3/4, which we know is 21. Because it goes in evenly, we got to do the 21st and the 22nd. Okay, so who's 21 and 22? 21 and 22 are 36 and 37 respectively, so average 36 and 37 together, divide by 2, and you get 36.5%. Okay. Explain the value of the lower quartile of the 2015 data means in this context. Okay, first of all, what does lower quartile mean? I'll give you an example. Imagine we had, let's say, a couple of numbers. Okay, so I'll give you an example. Let's go 2, 3, 4. So 2, 3, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. How many numbers do we have there? We have 7 numbers. Okay. So a lower quartile is basically I get a quarter of the total number of numbers, which is 7. Quarter of 7 is 1.75. Because it went in as a decimal, I have to round upwards to 2. That's my best guess. So in this case, a score of 3, because we consider that 1/4 of the way up, 25% of people should get a smaller score than 3 or below. Okay. If I change the number to 8 people, so let's say I put in the number 12 at the end. Okay, so the number 12 is now at the end there. Okay, it's going to be 1/4 of 8 now. And in 1/4 of 8, what's going to happen is it's going to be 1/4 of 8. Because it goes in evenly as 2, because it goes in evenly, I now have to take the average of the second and the third. So it's going to be 3 plus 5 divided by 2, which would be a lower quartile of 4. What we're saying is this lower quartile score, 25% of all countries, or 25% of people will have this score or lower. Okay, so when we're talking about the lower quartile in the context of this question, and the lower quartile is 19.5%, we're expecting that 25% of countries have a female percentage of less than 19.5%. Okay, so see the way it's 19.5% for the lower quartile, you can just see it here. Okay, so here's what we're expecting now. I'll just type this in. What does it mean? 25% of all countries in 2015 have a lower female percentage in parliament, sorry, female percentage in parliament less than 19.5%. Okay, that's it. Go on and dust it. Okay, next question. Fill in the group frequency table below and fill out all these numbers, right? So basically, you're going to go through your table. I'll do one of them, right? So who's in 2005, who's 0 to 9? Well, there's two of them from 0 to 9, so that'll be 2. Next thing we go for 2015, who's 0 to 9? There's nobody 0 to 9 in 2015, so we go 0. How many people are from 10 to 19 in 2005? 10 to 19 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so there's 10 of them there. And then in 2015, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, guys, so you basically get the gist. You can't do that all the way down. So eventually we get all our numbers like this, and that's what the table comes out like. Now, based on table 2, use the mid-interval values to estimate the mean percentage of female members in Parliament in 2005. Give your answer correct to one decimal place. Now we're talking about 2005, we're talking about these guys here. Now, remember, your mean is your total divided by the number of countries. So total percentage divided by number of countries, or just total divided by number of countries. Now, to use the middle of the interval, you have to add 0 and 9 together and half it to get 4.5. 10 plus 19 together, half it, you get 14.5. And you get the gist. 20 plus 29, half it, 24.5. So we're just constantly getting the averages here, 34.5, and then we're getting 44.5. So to do this calculation, we multiply 4.5 by 2. Then we add it on to 14.5 multiplied by 10. 24.5 multiplied by 8. 24.5 multiplied by 7. And finally 44.5 multiplied by 1. Okay, then divide all that by the total number of countries, which is 28. You should get, just do the top in your calculator on its own, so you should get 636 divided by 28, we hope. Then put that into your calculator and you should get 22.7% to one decimal place. Okay, that's just done on that one. Now, using mid-interval values from table 2, Tom estimates the mean percentage of females in parliaments to be 27%. Using the figures in table 1, the actual mean is 26.86%. Explain why these two values are different. Well, the reason why these values are different is just a longer way of explaining it. What we're assuming, when you have 10 to 19 here, and we're assuming 10 people scored 14.5, and that's not entirely true. That's just a rough estimate. All 10 people could score 19, so in that case, we'd be underestimating it. Likewise, all 10 people could have scored 11, but we're claiming that all 10 people scored 14.5. So basically mid-interval values are just an estimate, okay? So I'll type out an answer for this. Okay. The mid-interval values assume every value in a given interval is the same. So everyone So e.g., I suppose, for example, e dot g. So everyone in the interval ten to 19 gets a score of 14.5. In the actual values, not everyone the actual values the actual values in the actual values they are not 14.5. It is an approximation or estimate. Okay, have a good spell. There you go, guys. That's E part 1. Now, E part 2, write in the error of Tom's estimate of the mean as a percentage of the actual mean. So, what we have is error divided by real value multiplied by 100. Now, the real value is not the mid-interval value is the estimate. So the real value is 26.86 and the estimate is 27. So real is 26.86. Error is 27 minus 26.86, which is 0.14. And then we multiply that by 100. And what we're going to get is 0.52% in error. So look, it's still pretty accurate. 0.52, 0.5% is pretty close in my opinion. Okay, now we're on F. Display the data graphically in a way that allows you to compare the data for the 2 years. Label your graphs clearly. Show any calculations you make. Okay, lads, we're just going to go through it this way. Okay, you could make yourself a bar chart where only 2 people in 2005 were between 0 and 9. And then in 2005, 10 people were in between 10 and 19. While in 2015, only 7 people were in between 2 and 9. So you could do yourself a nice bar chart. And that would get you you do a nice bar chart and that'll get you your full marks on that question, okay? So you can do a bar chart, something like that. See the intervals on the bottom? And you're comparing the 2 bar charts together. Another answer you could have done was you could have done a stem and leaf plot, like so. Okay, and you could do the keys and that could show the difference. Or I'd stick with the bar chart, to be honest. Some people do a pie chart. Okay, once again, a lot of calculations in the pie chart compared to a bar chart. I'd be going for the bar chart all day long. Or you could try a trend graph, okay? So look, there are all your options for that question. Just pick one of them and get it done. And you gotta do both graphs in the same thing, all right? So, okay, guys. So, and I believe that's it. So that was the answer to part F, was just the graph work. Okay, so we're all good. Now, question 4. The triangle ABC is shown on the coordinate grid below. And we gotta find ourselves some equations here, okay? So let's find out. So A is the point, what's it, -1, 3. B is the point 5, 3. And then C is the point -1, 8. Now guys, we first need to find out the equation of the line AB. Please remember, AB is a horizontal line. Okay? And if AB is a horizontal line, we simply can say that it goes through the y value, y equals 3. If you were to try and use y equals m bracket x minus x1, what you'd find is it has no slope. Okay, because the slope is 0. So what would happen here is you'd get, and then just pick out y minus y1, my fault, I forgot about that. Y minus y1 equals n into x minus x1. So you could choose, 5, 3 as x1 and y1. And then you get y minus 3 equals 0 into x minus 5. 0 times x minus 5 is 0. Bring the 3 over to the other side and you just get y equals 3. So that's where you get that line from. Please remember, vertical lines are the same thing. AC is actually different here. If it's completely vertical, its slope is said to be infinite, or if you put it into calculator, it doesn't exist. Vertical slopes don't really exist because you're dividing by 0. So simply put it as, see the way they're both going through the x value minus 1. One point is minus 1,8 and the other one's minus 1,5. This is simply the line x equals minus 1 because it goes straight up. The only one we need to worry about regards the formula is BC. So to find the slope of BC, we use the slope formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. We have here is 5, 3. And we also have minus 1,8. And then that's x2, y2, and then x1, y1. 3 minus 8. 5 minus minus 1. 3 minus 8 is minus 5. And then 5 minus minus 1 is 5 plus 1. 6. Okay. And then we have the equation of our line, y minus y1 equals m bracket x minus x1. And then you get what point is on the line. We can either choose, if it's BC, the equation of BC is what we're looking for. So we can either use B or C. I'll probably just use B again. 2 positive numbers makes things easy. Y minus 3 into minus 5 sixths, x minus 5. Okay, multiply up to 6. So we get 6 times y, which is 6y. 6 times minus 3 is minus 18. Because division of 6 on the right is multiplication of 6 on the left. Multiplying the minus 5 and you get minus 5x plus 25. Move it all over to one side. So we get 5x plus 6y. Now it's going to be minus 18 and then there's going to be another minus 25 beside that. So the two of them combined would be minus 43 equals 0. And there's all 3 equations of the lines. Okay, done that one already. Next one. Use your trigonometry to find the measure of the angle ABC. Give your answer in degrees to 2 decimal places. Okay. So we call this angle. So what angle is it looking for? Angle ABC. So angle ABC is A to B to C. So it's this angle here. Well, it has we find some lengths here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Has a length of 5. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's a 6 for the adjacent, 5 for the opposite. 6 for the adjacent, 5 for the opposite. Calculate angle B. So opposite Sokotoa, silly old Harry, chase a horse through our attic. We have the opposite and the adjacent, so we're going to use tan. So tan B equals 5 over 6. To get B, we're going to have the tan inverse 5 over 6. Put that into the calculator. Make sure it's on D, so shift tan inverse 5 over 6. And we get 39.8. So 39.81 because it rounds off. 805 rounds off to 810. So 39.81. Okay. Find BC, the length of BC, give your answer in surd form. So we're going to be doing the distance between points. We're going to be doing x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. And we know that B and C are B is 5, 3. C is minus 1/8. Might just call this x2, y2, x1, y1. Okay, throw it into the calculator. So it's x2, which is 5. Remember, it's minus minus, so minus minus 1 is a plus 1. And then y2, which is 3, take away y1, which is 8. Enter all that into the calculator. Root 61. Just keep it as root 61 because you want the answer in short form. Hence, otherwise, find the area of a circle that goes through the points A, B, and C. Give your answer in terms of pi. Oh, I see what they tried there. So, if you go to the midpoint of B and C, I think we know what they're doing here. You go to the midpoint of B and C here. And you don't have to draw this, by the way, I'm just using this as a visual tool to help you. If I draw a line like this, there you go. Now the reason why I knew that is, remember the rule where if you have a diameter, remember if one of the lines in the triangle is a diameter and it fits on a circle, then it has to be a 90-degree angle in the semicircle. So that's how I knew that. So basically your radius is half of BC. Okay, so it's going to be, so radius is going to be, your radius is going to be root 61 divided by 2, and your area is pi r squared. So area equals pi times root 61 over 2 squared. Shift pi root 61 over 2. Now remember, the root 6, it's not root 61 over 2 like this, that's wrong. It's root 61. Press the right button, then divided by 2 squared. And you get 61 over 4 pi, which is the correct answer. So we're done with that. That's the area. 61 pi over 4. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Question 5. Is the point 3 minus 5 on the following line? Justify your answer. Well, if it's on the line, it will balance the equation when we sub in the x and y values. So that has to happen if it's on the line. We put 3 here, minus 5 here. So we get 15 minus 15 plus 6 equals 0. And then when you put that together, 6 does not equal 0. So therefore, it is not on the line. Not on the line. Find the point of intersection of the following two lines. Okay, we need a simultaneous equation, so we're going to bring the 2x to the other side, so we're going to get 2x plus y equals 5, and then we have our 3 plus 2y equals 7. I'm going to multiply the bottom one by minus 2. So it's going to be 3x plus 2y equals 7, and then it's going to be minus 4x minus 2y equals minus 10. And then it's going to be minus 1x equals minus 3. And then x equals 3. Multiply both sides by minus 1. Next one. 2 times 3, because we can sub it back in. So 2 times 3 plus y equals 5. 6 plus y equals 5. Y equals 5, take away 6. Y equals minus 1. 3 and minus 1. Okay. The next question is a proof, so you can just go to my proofs video to find out how to do that. Okay, I already did that in the proofs video, so it's no point me doing it again. Now, the points A, B, C, and D are shown in the diagram. They are all on the circle K. AB is equal to length to AB is equal in length to DB, and BC is equal to DC. All right, great. They already have that marked in. Calculate the value of x. Okay. This is known as a cyclic quadrilateral. A cyclic quadrilateral is where all is a four-sided object like a square, rectangle, a parallelogram, or any four-sided object, but all 4 points have to be on a circle. In this case, opposite angles have to add up to 180. So this means x has to equal 80 degrees, because x will equal 180, take away 100, and x therefore has to equal 80 degrees. Okay, we're all good. Now part B. Calculate the value of y, show all your workings out. Okay, so how are we going to figure out what y is? So what we actually have, there's a little trick to this one. I would have struggled to see it myself, is that we're going to draw a diagonal A to C. Okay, so next we're going to draw a diagonal A to C. I'm going to try and prove that the top line is the top triangle is congruent to the bottom triangle, which we know they are, but it doesn't matter of doing it out. It's an SSS all day long. Okay, so look, I'll even start up here. It's triangle what's it, ADC, and it's a triangle ABC. Okay, and we'll just call this angle 1 and angle and y. Okay, I should call it angle Z. Let's call it angle Z. Just another angle that we're not using. Okay, so what we're going to say is length AD, we're told is the same length as AB. Then we're told length DC is the same as length BC. And there's a common length. So both of them are given, by the way, so just to let you know, both of them are given. So we'll just drag this down to the actual answer here. No. There we go. Oh, I left a line behind. There we go. Okay, so DC is BC, they're both given. Then you have the common line in the middle. The common line being A to C, the one we just drew. Common side. So triangle ADC and ABC are congruent. This means angle Y has to equal angle 1, because angle Z, I mean, is what I called it. Oh, don't do that. Angle Z okay, so angle Y equals angle Z, but angle Y plus angle Z equals 180. This must mean angle Y equals 90 degrees, because they both have to equal 90 degrees to make that happen. Okay, so this is question 7.